So we have what I like to call the Revenge of the Whigs. So we got Parliament here, and yes, they have the big wigs, and they still in court in England today they still wear the wigs, which is crazy.
But is that like a symbol of authority?
Yeah, it's like I'm better than you. I guess I don't know, maybe whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'll get one for a video someday. Anyway, all right. So the Revenge of the Whigs. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to pass something called the Intolerable Acts. You need to know there's 2 names for this. Yeah. Hint. You need to know both. They're both on the test. The colonists call them the Intolerable Acts.
Because they just could not tolerate these laws anymore.
There you go. Right? And we talked about what toleration is. All right? This is intolerant. Yeah. Like lactose intolerant. All right? They're intolerant to
these new
laws. Yeah. But in England, they're called the Coercive Acts. All right? England, coercive. Colonies, intolerable. So make sure you know both names. So it's a set of acts that are just going to basically tick off the colonists. They say, you know what? You mess with us enough, really bad consequences are coming now. So let's hit some of these consequences.
So parts of the Intolerable or Coercive Acts are going to be the New Quartering Act.
Okay. And actually, I just realized we didn't talk about the other Quartering Act.
Oh, we sure did.
We probably did.
So what's the Quartering Act? Well, the Quartering Act is basically where Parliament says that in order for them to kind of keep an eye on what's going on in the colonies, as a colonist, you have to allow the British soldiers to actually come into your home if they want to, sleep in your bed, eat your food. They can even take over your job. How crazy is that? Yeah. Who came up with that kind of law? So the Quartering Act has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with an actual quarter, but it means housing soldiers.
Right. Yeah, and that was 1765. So if you want to like put a little arrow up in your notes.
Yeah.
So in that one they didn't really hold them in their homes as much. That's more the new one, which we'll get to. But the old one is more of like they'd have barracks set up in the towns that they'd set for them, and if they didn't have enough, then they could go in your houses if they needed to live. But they ransack your stuff, kind of whatever. They have free reign.
Yeah.
This new one is. A lot more soldiers are coming, and they are going to be in your homes, and you just have to stand there and let them come in. I mean, I can't imagine being at home and having guys with machine guns come in and say, we're going to stay here for a little while and going through my food.
And they didn't care if the colonists had children or if the men had wives. The soldiers would just come right on in and stay in your home and eat your food. Even if it didn't leave you with much to eat,
they didn't care.
Your food. And they could even take over your job to make extra money.
Exactly. So
it was a law.
Insane. Another part, which is huge for Boston, the harbor was closed until the city paid for that lost tea.
So
and
basically,
we're talking
the
millions.
city of Boston had to come up with the money to pay for all the tea they dumped into the harbor. And until then, no ships could come in, no ships could go out. So people in Boston are going to start losing money.
Everybody. Because everyone gets money through there. Even if you're like an inn. Who's staying at your inn? A lot of these people coming in, but the harbor's completely closed. And everyone who's making all the goods, mercantilism, they need to send them to England and make something.
Yeah.
And they can't get products in either. Like this, I mean, this thing's bad. It's really bad. So you need to know about the Boston Harbor being closed. Let's see. Oh, town meetings are dissolved. Yeah. Oh, man. Remember that local government, how they do it? The representative local government is gone. They have a military governor who's now in charge in Boston. That's going to tick them off like you wouldn't believe.
So basically, Parliament puts somebody from England in charge. And because this person is in charge, he's basically ordering the British soldiers to go around making sure people are not having town meetings.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy.
This General Gage guy. Yeah, he's
I
dictator
thank God
for life.
for the freedom of petition and freedom of assembly at this point.
Yeah, because they don't have it now.
They don't have it.
All right. And even worse, and you can ask if you want more details about how this all worked, but the soldiers were that were charged with crimes in the colonies, like the soldiers in the Boston Massacre, they actually had their trials there. And John Adams was actually their lawyer, which is so weird. But he was like, we need to do this the right way.
Yeah.
But everyone wanted them to get the worst punishment possible because they're in the colonies. Luckily, John helped out and helped those soldiers a bit. But now, if you do something wrong in the colonies and you're a soldier, boom, you're going back to England for your trial. And guess what? People in England are going to be a lot nicer to you.
Yeah, because they don't like the colonists at this point anyway, because we're, protesting and destroying tea, messing up how they make their money.
We're those crazy colonists. So, people in England are like, well, they probably deserved whatever happened. It was probably they were provoked to kill that colonist or whatever it was.
So basically those soldiers that, shot into the crowd during the Boston Massacre, they basically just get a slap on the wrist.
Exactly, right. So this is going to take off. But you get it from England's perspective with some of these things. If you change your lens and you look at a lot of this, it's just the colonists are just being babies. Yeah. But they've been given solitary neglect too long. Yeah. So you gotta see from both sides here. It makes sense from both sides a little bit why they're mad about different things.